I think that one will be fine.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
You bet.
Are you rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me a description of your act for someone who's never seen it before.
Well, it's a circus sideshow from the 1940s and the 1950s, but it also bleeds into other cultures. You know, this is the type of thing your great Aunt Betty used to go see and watch like this. Bed of nails, 3 people standing on me, put my face in broken glass, let people stand on the back of my head, and all that good stuff that you can only do at Venice Beach these days.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add to your act?
Well, I used to let a raccoon trap snap shut on my hands, but some little kid, when my back was turned, stole it, my raccoon trap, so I don't know what the hell he's going to do with it in LA, but I used to use that in my act. And there's a couple of other things I do, but I don't do it out here on Venice Beach because there's other people that are already doing it. Jumping around in glass, fire eating, that type of thing. And quite frankly, the guy that jumps around in glass is better at it than I am. You know, my specialty is putting my face in glass and letting people stand on the back of my head. And then the guy that eats fire, Tony, he's probably the best in the world right now for the different things he can do with fire. So there's no sense in me doing it.
You said once in your act that your father performed here in the 1950s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Would you describe a little bit about his act and how it followed up on his act?
Well, he did basically the same stuff I did. He did, instead, when I eat the razor blades and then I eat thread, then I cough the razor blades up tight to the thread. He used to do that with sewing needles. So that's about the only difference. He never did raccoon traps, but he did eat fire.
Did he perform on the boardwalk here, or did he?
Yeah, but he performed all over, as I do.
Okay. Where else do you perform?
We do stage shows up in the Northwest, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, in those areas, and we do that during the winter. And then we also, my wife's French, so we do Europe a lot, more really than we do Venice Beach now. It used to be we did Venice Beach more, but like this year I'll be on Venice Beach for just 3 months out of the year, which is cutting it pretty short. I love this beach.
What was it like growing up here in the 50s and 60s as a child of a Venice Beach performer?
Actually, you know, it was pretty stable. People used to tip better back then. Nowadays, the television era and everything has to go real fast. And also they're used to seeing people that can do fantastic things in the movies. So this type of draw, this particular show that I'm doing, has slightly less appeal than it did back then. But it's coming around the last 3 years. You know, it's really changed. But to answer your question, it was stable, went to good schools, also learned a lot about the streets and people. Was able to go to University of Arizona college, so it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I wanted to catch up real quick on the, you know, there used to be 2,500 sideshows and carnivals and circuses where the guy would lie on a bed of nails or pound nails and screwdrivers into his nose, the human blockhead, the human pin cushion, and these types of feats. There's only 3 left.
Nationwide?
Nationwide. So there has been less of an appeal, but you know, the types of people that go to a carnival are not as interested in seeing this stuff. I'm starting in the last 3 years to realize that the punk rock and the arts community these types of people turn out en masse for this type of show. But these are not the types of people that really go to a carnival anymore. So our stage shows have been selling out. Now the stage show's much bigger. We've got guys that put hooks through their nipples and then lift up heavy blacks, or put hooks through their tongues, or the human pin cushion, sword swallowers, this type of thing. And they've come off and on throughout the couple of months here this year. They've all come up, and I've done shows with them, not the full stage show, but the human pin cushion came up for a week and stuck pins all through himself. And you know, the only other place in the country where you can do this show is like the Keys in Florida, but it's such a battle. There's so little space. You can only do one show a day, or maybe two if you're real quick. And so you can't really make any money. You know, they do them at sunset. So Venice Beach is, by all measures, the only place left to really do a show like this, and to have it as a living and a lifestyle. That's about all I'm going to say on that subject, buddy.
Okay, I won't push you any further there.
You didn't have to push at all. I just kept talking, as I
How do you
have to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you view your audience?
How do I view them?
Yeah. What's your opinion of your audience?
Of my audience. Well, I wish there was a stereotypical audience. And I guess averages should, the correct mathematical formula should say, for the most part, an audience should be this way. But due to the nature of the show, and due to the nature of, I love most of my audiences, absolutely love them. But there are some that aren't as cooperative. And collectively, they're not real bad, but one person can ruin your show. Okay, in other words, if I try to get out of once I get out of the straitjacket, I get out of the temp. Once I get out of the straitjacket, I then need to get people out of the audience to stand on me on the bed of nails. Well, if the first person that I go to doesn't come out out of the audience, or is real reluctant, or I have to really hold on to them and pull them, then the next one I go up to reacts the same way, and the next one reacts the same way. And by the time I get the people I need to do the feat, I've lost control of the crowd. I hate to use the word sheep, and a lot of shows it's not the same way. But you got to realize I'm doing a torture show. So there's an uneasy truce in the beginning till they get to know me. So I lose complete control. It's just like, and then once that happens, I don't particularly care for that audience much. Because I'm having to work too damn hard to give them a show. Plus, it all washes the show. You know, they're not making me feel good. It's just like when you ask for tips. Well, if the first person that comes up to your basket gives you change, then they all do, or just about all of them. If the first person that comes up puts $1 in your basket, then they all do. It's a funny little herd mentality that you're having to deal with. Therefore, the crowds aren't predictable. One person can make or break your show. If I got one person excited as hell to stand on top of my head while my face is in glass, well, that's a great show, because that energy feeds. So, you know, as far as my view of the audience, it depends on how they treat me.
You mentioned your tips a couple times. That must be a delicate matter in your act, or is it? And I've noticed that every performer here seems to approach the topic of tips a little different. You tend to be very sincere when you ask for tips. Other performers are almost demanding, but in a comical way. And
well, I'm demanding in a sincere way. But I mean, you gotta be. I mean, man, I've done this show since Moby Dick was a minnow, right? And the honor system does not work. You do this show, and you graciously put out your hats, and you say, We're street performers. This is what Venice Beach is all about. And they take off running. They got a free show, which is fine. It's a public beach. You can get a free show. But if you've got the hook where you're going to do one more thing, but we're going to take a commercial break for tips, they're more apt to stay and give you a tip. This is documented. I'm not really speculating. This is just the way it is. On Venice Beach, in Europe, the honor system works. New York, the honor system works. Venice Beach, that's why it's a carnival beach. You have to do it like a carny. You got to set them up for the final spectacular feat. And it is. I mean, I put my face in glass, let people stand on the back of my head, but I'm not going to come up out of that glass and see everybody running. I'd rather just get the tips before I do it. And every time it's a good hat and people give me good tips, I always give money back to kids. I always make them promise they're going to go to college. I mean, I'm not out here to get rich. This is a lifestyle.
What do you like about this lifestyle?
What do I like about the lifestyle is every day walking up and down the beach and going anywhere I want to in LA and people saying, "Hi, Jimmy the Geek. Geek, how are you? How do you eat those razor blades?" You know, I like astonishing people. That's my job on this beach.
What's, so you can remember off the top of your head, what's the worst experience you had doing this show?
That one is an easy one. Well, actually, there's a couple of close runner-ups, but the one that stands out in my mind the most is, and I've got a close second, but, in the nature of what I'm doing again, I hate to keep repeating myself. Cameraman, would you please pan over to the bed of nails? Anyway, I lie on the bed of nails and I let 3 people stand on top of me. Okay? Well, and then I also have the biggest guy in the audience will stand on each side of this pillow. My head goes here, and he is to make sure the people standing on top of me do not fall off. Okay. Well, bear in mind, again, he's the biggest guy out of the audience. So I get these 3 people standing on top of me. This was just about a month and a half ago. And the guy that's supposed to keep them steady misunderstood me. He heard me say, put my face in glass and let people stand on my head. Okay? Well, he mixed it up with the bed of nails. So I've got 3 people standing on me. I'm looking up, and here comes some big tennis shoes right onto my face. I don't know how I survived that, but I ended up having 4 people standing on top of me while lying on the bed of nails that day. And cut my lip a little bit, but what the hell? No pain, no gain in this business.
What's your close second?
My close second is too damn embarrassing. I won't get into
my curiosity.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to let it drop.
Maybe another time. How do you see Venice Beach changing?
Venice Beach changing. Well, there's more of everything. Therefore, diluting the quality. But it's still great. It's still great.
How long are you going to stay here?
This year?
Yeah.
I'll be here through August. And then I've got some stage shows to do. And then we've got to go to Europe for a little while. And we'll be right back here.
Okay.
On Venice Beach. I'm going to take a couple of months, not a break because I'll still be working. But this is the hardest grind there is. 5 and 6 shows a day. Every day except for Monday. By the way, that camera angle's bothering me. You see this tooth? I'm surprised somebody hasn't shot me for the ivory. I used to have perfect teeth. This tooth has become askew from bending nails with my teeth. Now, I would appreciate it if you wouldn't shoot me from that angle. I am sensitive about the way my teeth are shaping. Okay, what's your next question?
Pretty much it. I've got it.
What?
I've got it. That's about all I need
Is that
to
all
know.
your
Unless
questions?
there's anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself or...
Well, I'm going to tell you about these people right here. They're going to be astonished. That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, I'll let you get on with it then.
All right,
Thank you
brother.
very much for your time.
All right, that's going to UCLA or?
US.